and welcome to Kayla's World. I'm Kayla Canoe, author, YouTuber, gamer, and aerialist. And today's video is a little bit of a part 2 of reading through my editor's comments. If you guys didn't see the first video, go ahead and check that one out before this one, because that was me sitting down and legit had just opened the email and was reading through my editorial letter. But today, it's a couple days later. It is September 3rd. It is about 11 a.m. in the morning. I have since read all the way through my editorial letter. I read through all of my editor's comments that were in my actual manuscript, and overall, I am extremely happy with the quality, I guess is the best way to describe it, the quality of the feedback. I think that it's all been worded very well in a constructive type of way, and I think that my editor did a fantastic job of pointing out the way things come across. Like, things are worded in a way of like, hey, this is how it came across. You know, there are some places where like she may make a recommendation of this could turn readers away, but also, there were some comments where it was just like, hey, I noticed this was there, but there wasn't really like specific direction. It was more of like, hey, if you meant it, cool, it's there. If you didn't, maybe you might not want it there, kind of thing. But yeah, I'm really glad that I decided to do developmental edits, and I highly recommend doing it. So to go through just a little bit so you guys get an idea of where I am at right now, I have a lot of changes to make courtesy of these developmental edits. There are some things in here that I will mention that came across. One, not surprising, because it is sort of similar in a way, but The Reckoning was compared to The Hunger Games in some of my feedback, which is my most concerning, my biggest concern, I guess. Not super concerned because like they're definitely very different, but I also want to make sure that like where the similarities are, because like it is a survivalistic type challenge, dystopian-esque book. Obviously there's some overlap there with the Hunger Games, but it's not supposed to be that similar. So that is one of the things that I need to fix in my novel that was pointed out, which actually ties into the fact that The Reckoning, which is like the big event that's happening throughout the book, took a back burner to the characters' relationships and interactions, which is not surprising because I tend to write characters first. So for me, when I'm writing, like, it's all about the characters, and like the action plot is kind of like the backdrop almost. So my editor did recommend kind of putting an urgency on, or giving a little bit more detail about The Reckoning, which I'm gonna have to do in this editing process, because The Reckoning is important and it does have history, and I am a lazy writer, and I totally neglected adding in those details. Some of it I think is because this is like the third version of this book, and like the characters have sort of stayed the same but also changed, but like the setting changed drastically, and like I pulled some writing from different places and like smashed it all together and then rewrote it. So I think that that's kind of why some of that detail that might be necessary was missing. But that's kind of one of the other things. Apparently there's also an underlying tone of misogyny in my book, which, to be fair, the quotes that my editor pointed out that were characters speaking were intended to be misogynistic. But she did also point out just kind of the way that I guess female characters were represented as a whole in the book, which, yeah, unintentional, but the misogyny ran a little bit deeper than intended. It was supposed to be like some of the characters were that way, and the whole book is that way. So that I might have to fix a little bit, tweak it, because what I was going for did not come across the right way on that one. What else? So the biggest edits that I'm gonna have to make is character development. The character development's not tragic, but I do have a character who needs some serious work, and this is that darker character that I mentioned in the last video. His name is Daniel, and I'm gonna try to not be too spoilery, but he's actually a significant character, and in my original version of the story, he was basically just supposed to be like misogynistic, like murderous, villainous, but like makes inappropriate jokes kind of character. Like he was supposed to be like cream of the crop, disturbing being. Like he was supposed to be monster. He was supposed to be a monster basically. And truth be told, I actually changed what his character is and his backstory and everything coming into my final version. But I enjoyed a lot of the humor that he brought to the book, so I left a lot of things that were already in there previously in there, but that also left that like trash human qualities within him, but like so villainous that he's unredeemable right now, which is bad because this is a series that I'm writing, and he's an important character, and he needs to not be just a trash human because of his backstory. I'm not going to say anymore because I don't want to spoil any of it. But yeah, so basically I need to figure out how I'm going to change all of these scenes, and he's a big character, to give him a redemption arc, or if I just want to remove the trash human parts altogether. I mean, he's not a human, he's a magical being that has a name that I gave him. But yeah, so I basically have to decide if I want to just try to tweak some of the scenes to give him a redemption arc, or potentially just make him a better person in general. Yeah, so that is gonna be the biggest, hardest edit, and I've literally spent the last couple of days like putting note cards together and trying to figure out what I want to do with him, because the other characters, by comparison, don't really have as much work to do. I know my female characters still need some work because I struggle. You would think that it would be easier for me to write female characters, but it's not. Like, male perspective all the way, got it. Female perspective, not as great. I need to make my ladies a little bit more capable, honestly. But yeah, and emotional, because I wrote my female character with a flat character arc, and because of that, I unintentionally also wrote her as a flat character, and she's definitely not a flat character. So there's lots of work to be done there. Overall, I am super excited to get editing. I'm going to be doing editing vlogs so you guys can kind of see how I'm doing along the way. Feedback was amazing. Absolutely, absolutely amazing, guys. Get a developmental editor, seriously. It made a huge difference because I definitely had edited my book to the best of my ability without having that outside perspective. And I mean, I even had beta readers that had read it, and I had addressed some things and added some things in, but like professional quality, like critique, makes a huge difference. Because like I said when I was reading through it, like a lot of these things, they're not exactly surprises. Like, I don't know that I would have been able to fix it without, some advice or whatever. But like, it's not surprising. Like the show versus tell, like when someone points it out, I'm like, oh yeah, you're right. I am totally doing that in that place. Like, I get it. Or even like the descriptions. Because like when you're the writer, in your brain, you're like, oh, I already know what everything looks like. And then you don't necessarily relay that information out on the page. And like, I'm a lazy writer, so some descriptions are missing. So like that wasn't a surprise, and like I knew that there were issues with my character, and some of the scenes I had already thought about changing before I sent it in, but I was like, no, I don't think I want to change it. I don't know. I didn't know what to change it to, I guess. But I also didn't know like the overall impact of like how the scenes together added up to cause a specific response to the character. But yeah. So that's really it. If you guys have any questions for me about my developmental editing experience, about how I'm feeling, anything in regards to this whole getting feedback from an editor, feel free to drop them in the comments below. That is all that I have for you guys today. If you haven't already, you should check out Project Infinity. It is my boy love web novel series over on Tapas. The link is linked below as always. I'm also currently running a giveaway for a free signed arc of The Reckoning, and that giveaway will go all the way through to December. I'll be doing a special live stream, I think December 28th. I think it's like the last Monday of December, to announce the winner of the giveaway. And all you have to do to get entered in the giveaway is sign up to my newsletter, which is linked below, and then there's also a link to actually register for the giveaway so that I know that you're trying to get in on the giveaway. And I do have a video all about how you can get extra entries on, or extra entries for the giveaway, so you can check that out. Also going to list that below. If you guys like these types of videos, let me know. Leave it in the comments, like this video, subscribe to my channel. I put out new videos on Mondays. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I hope you enjoyed your time here in Kayla's world.